Hi, everybody. I'm attorney Aiden Kramer with the Law Office of Aiden Kramer in Colorado, and you're watching All Up in Your Business. I'm really excited about this episode because it's been requested by a lot of you. A lot of you asked me to make a video on this topic, and I made one a few weeks ago, but I didn't like it. It was boring, and I just wasn't on the top of my game at the time, so I scrapped it and decided to redo it. But here we are together again. And what I'm going to be talking about is how you transition from a sole proprietorship to an LLC. If you've been operating a business as a sole proprietorship and you decide that for liability reasons, tax purposes, whatever it is that you want to transition your business to an LLC, how do you go about doing that? The good news is that it's really not that different from just starting your business from the beginning as an LLC. The process and the steps really aren't that different from just normally forming an LLC as you would with any other business. First, of course, you need to form the LLC. That's done by filing a document with your state's Secretary of State. In Colorado, it's called Articles of Organization that you file. In some states, it's called the Certificate of Formation. Whatever it's called, you file that document, and that's what creates and forms the LLC. If your sole proprietorship was operating under a trade name or a DBA, and you want to continue operating under that DBA with your LLC, then you'll need to refile the statement of trade name or the DBA paperwork so that it's clear that trade name is a trade name of the LLC. Because when you're operating as a sole proprietor, the DBA is the DBA of your sole proprietorship. And instead, now you want it to be a DBA of your LLC. So in most states, you would need to withdraw the current trade name registration and then refile it with your LLC. If your LLC is going to be operating under the same name that your sole proprietorship's DBA was, then you don't need to worry about redoing the trade name because the LLC's name is the same as the trade name. So you don't need a trade name or a DBA if the names are going to be the same. You just operate under your LLC's name. You may need to get an EIN or a tax identification number as well through the IRS. You may have had an EIN for your sole proprietorship if your sole proprietorship had employees or if your bank required it. But now that you're changing to an LLC, the IRS requires that you get a new EIN because it's a new entity. So you would need to apply for that new EIN and then change or update your bank's information so they have the LLC's name and the new tax ID number. If your sole proprietorship was required to have any sort of permits or licenses, maybe your city required that you have a business license, you'll want to contact your city and let them know that you're now operating as an LLC and they may need the new EIN. They may not make you make any changes, but you'll need to contact the city, the county, whatever jurisdiction it was that is controlling this license or permit. Contact them and find out what, if any, changes would need to be made so that that permit or the license applies to the LLC now instead of the sole proprietorship. The one thing that is different in this instance than if you're just forming an LLC from the beginning of your business's life is that you may need to review and redo a few contracts. If your sole proprietorship had contracts with customers or service providers, anything like that, you'll want to change those contracts so that it's the LLC who is the party to the contract instead of the sole proprietorship. Because when you signed that contract as a sole proprietor, it was you who was signing the contract essentially. But now as an LLC, it's the LLC who is a party to the contract. So if the contract can be amended or renewed, then you want to amend or renew it as the LLC being the party to the contract. If you can assign the contract, then you can assign your interest in it to the LLC. All that's going to depend on what the contract says about making changes to it. But if you can, you want to redo those contracts so it's obvious and clear that it's the LLC who's now signing the contract and not you as a sole proprietor. And then moving forward, making sure any new contracts or agreements are signed by the LLC rather than the sole proprietorship. But really, that's it. That's really the only difference between transitioning a sole proprietorship to an LLC and just forming an LLC, is making sure those contracts reflect the LLC. So thank you to everybody who requested that I make a topic on that. As always, if there's a topic that you would like me to talk about or put a video up about, please comment them or shoot me an email with that request, and I'll put it on the list and try to get to it when I can. If you're in Colorado and are looking for assistance with moving your sole proprietorship to an LLC or starting a new business as an LLC, feel free to contact me. My phone number and email are below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any exciting episodes of All Up in Your Business. Thank you all so very much for watching. I'm Aiden Kramer, and I'll see you next time.